A very good evening to you. This is your main news and I am Nabila Jogi.
And I am Alvin Matala. Together with Piswe Jomonika, you will be interpreting our bulletin in sign language. Let's take a look at our headlines.
Afreximbank pledges more support for Zimbabwe's industrialization.
This was announced by the institution's president, Professor Benedict Orama, when he paid a courtesy call on President Emmerson Mnangagwa in Cairo.
Later on in our arts news, Zimbabwean musicians bag international awards at the just-ended African Entertainment Awards USA in New Jersey.
In our sports news, Warriors players troop into camp in Rwanda ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. We'll be looking at that sports story and a lot more later on in this bulletin. But first, in our leading story, the Afreximbank says it is working on the modalities to support Zimbabwe's industrialization drive and grow the country's agricultural sector. This came out when the financial institution's president, Professor Benedict Orama, paid a courtesy call on President Emmerson Mnangagwa in Cairo, Egypt, this Monday.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa joined his Malawi and Egyptian counterparts at the Intra-African Trade Showcase, which is being held in Cairo, Egypt. The trade showcase brings together businesses from across Africa with the focus on promoting intra-Africa trade. The showcase was organized by the Afreximbank in collaboration with the African Union and African Continental Free Trade Area. The president of the Afreximbank, Professor Benedict Orama, paid a courtesy call on President Mnangagwa after the event. After a closed-door meeting, Professor Orama said he gave an update on the initiatives that are being put in place to support Zimbabwe's industrialization.
We also took the opportunity to brief him on the progress of some of the initiatives we are pursuing with regard to industrialization, helping to support the meat industry in Zimbabwe, helping to support industrialization, including the battery minerals that we want to see how we can begin to beneficiate more, support them to beneficiating. We also, of course, discussed the Export Agriculture Initiative for Food Security in Africa, the framework of agreement of which was signed today between the Egyptian government, Malawian government, and the Zimbabwe government and the Chadian government.
Professor Orama said the three heads of state in an earlier meeting also agreed that it is time Africa takes food sufficiency into its own hands.
The framework is intended to use a collaborative approach to improve food production and intra-regional trade in food, in wheat, soybean, maize, rice, meat, so that we are no longer over-dependent on others for these products. These heads of state decided that it was time for us to take take our destiny in our hands, use our abundant water resources, abundant arable land, and put them to good use and stop depending on other markets for the supply of these critical needs of our people.
Zimbabwe is exhibiting at the ongoing trade showcase, having incorporated women and youths. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Cairo.
Now, cabinet ministers are being notified that the next cabinet meeting will take place on Wednesday, the 15th of November. In a statement, Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, said the venue and time remain unchanged and members should plan accordingly.
In other news now, government has commissioned another stretch along the Harare-Baj Bridge Highway in yet another milestone for the Second Republic in improving the country's road network. Now, Tafaraj Kumira was in Vuma and filed the following report.
A government is moving with speed to complete the rehabilitation of the Harare-Bay Bridge Highway after another 6-kilometer stretch of the busy highway was officially opened this Monday. The stretch brings the completed distance to 470 kilometers out of the 580 kilometers of the highway. The motoring public heaped praise on the Second Republic for attending to the road network.
Mota dzaikuwara waisvika exhaust adambuka pamusoro pemakomba even delayment time yataitora yanga yakawandisa.
Matsaona road nemasvingo Harare road yanga yauraya vanhu. Totenda zvikuru at least hano kwakufambika nyore.
Government pledged to continue upgrading key infrastructure in line with the National Development Strategy 1.
We are talking of Mashingone carpet, and indeed this is what is happening today. And you've seen that this stretch was in a wetland, so it took time for the contractor to work on the particular stretch. And what is exciting, you can actually tell from the motorists the joy that they are demonstrating. And what I like about the Second Republic being championed by His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa is we are building our own nation as per his mantra that nyika inovakwa nevenevayo.
The country has witnessed the unprecedented upgrade of key infrastructure like roads, airports and ports of entry under the Second Republic, with government creating a conducive environment for investors to do business in Zimbabwe. Tafaraj Kumira, ZBC News, Mvuma.
Now, from road infrastructure to agriculture, government is slowly taking control of the fertilizer industry value chain as the Industrial Development Corporation-owned company Zimfos is now producing at least 15% of national basal fertilizer requirements. We get our report from Owen Mandova.
The company, which is controlled by government through the Industrial Development Corporation IDC, primarily processes phosphate rock mined at Dorowa into superphosphates which are supplied to basal fertilizer producing companies. Last year, the company moved up the value chain when President Emerson Mnangagwa commissioned a blending plant, and this agricultural season, Zimfos is expected to produce at least 15% of the national basal fertilizer requirements.
We've always been in this business, but via the manufacture of superphosphate. But since last year, we've actually started producing our own brand of fertilizer from the blending plant. We project that we will produce for the whole of this year around 20,000 tons up to 28,000 tons of phosphate rock. That translates into about 62,000 tons of NPK, standard NPK compounds like compound D.
Amid an expected high demand of fertilizer in the wake of the ongoing agrarian revolution, Zimfos has set sights on ensuring that it meets national fertilizer requirements by 2025.
The capacity at Dorowa will increase to about 70,000 tons of phosphate concentrate next year, which translates to 215,000 tons of NPK compounds. This is half of the national demand. And then the following year, that is in 2025, we will actually upgrade this plant to 150,000 tons per annum. It's not an upgrade, but just restoring the capacity.
Apart from the blending plant, which was commissioned last year, the firm has plans to assemble a granulation plant by the second quarter of next year that will also ramp up production and cut on imports. Zimbabwe's annual basal fertilizer requirement are at 400,000 tons, and government has licensed fertilizer imports to plug the gap owing to the huge demand. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, Zimbabwe has recorded an increase in the demand for lithium projects sustained by massive exploration initiatives in various parts of the country.
Presenting an update on the lithium sector performance since January in Harare this Monday, Lithium Association of Zimbabwe President Mr. Hilary Vela said that despite softening international prices for the commodity due to excess supply, the industry continues to attract local and external investor interest. He attributed the rise in demand for project opportunities to the shift by global economies on green economy systems that require solar-driven batteries, whose key production component is lithium.
We are getting into a phase in which people are now understanding and explorations going on. We now have the relevant data that we needed for investments to be able to come in.
Mr. Vela also spoke on the 2024 outlook in terms of overall performance of the lithium value chains and their impact on the economy.
We are foreseeing a growth, because if you check on the data right now that we have with ZIDA, there's more investments coming in from the lithium side of the equation than any other sector in this country.
The Zimbabwe Investment and Development Agency notes that the lithium sector also dominated approved mining projects during the third quarter of this year. A Chamber of Mines report released last week forecast that massive exploration projects by Bekita Lithium Mine, Sub-Star Lithium Project, Zulu Lithium and Tantalite Project, as well as Arcadia Lithium Mine, will further increase output next year. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, Zimbabwe and South Africa have launched a campaign to boost tourism traffic into the neighboring countries. Dubbed Wonder to Wonder, the campaign has been launched to promote iconic Victoria Falls as well as Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa.
The campaign was launched online this Monday after a joint marketing agreement signed in October this year. The move sets the stage for forward-thinking collaboration between Zimbabwe and South Africa, the first cross-border partnership of its kind in Southern Africa, is set to drive tourism traffic into the region, focusing on sustainable tourism goals.
With our collaborative mission of increasing sustainable tourism on the continent, we've started by connecting our two natural wonders of the world, Vic Falls and Table Mountain, into one spectacular African adventure.
The objective is to really highlight and showcase the two iconic natural world wonders of Southern Africa, which is Table Mountain in Cape Town and Victoria Falls here in Zimbabwe. The benefits of this partnership, I think, if we look at the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030, is to really forge strong partnerships.
The campaign is also meant to provide an excellent opportunity for first-time visitors to develop a passion for more immersive experiences. Seamless direct air connections between the two cities are expected to increase access into the destinations.
Connectivity between the two cities has been created. We have flights that are operating between Cape Town and Victoria Falls. So really this is linking the wonder of Cape Town and the wonder of Zimbabwe together. And in doing so, we are advancing that itineraries that are coming to Southern Africa do include Cape Town and Victoria Falls.
The campaign will run for 6 weeks and is promoted by We Are Victoria Falls and Cape Town Tourism, as well as other global partners. Yolanda Moy, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Now, the opposition-led City Council of Gweru has been accused of taking residents for a ride, with some parts of the Midlands capital having gone for over a week without tap water. This comes amid indications that there has been an outbreak of diarrhea in the city, Mkoba Teachers College included.
A health time bomb is ticking in Gweru's western suburbs, where residents have gone for at least a week without tap water. The development comes at a time the nation is battling a cholera outbreak that has affected several parts of the country.
Saka atisisina mvura zvinhu zvakadooma chero mvura yekupinda mutoilet chaicho hapasisina.
The local authority attributed the water problems to a burst pipe at Gweru Waterworks.
Tine pipe yedu yakaita burst ikokoko 600 mm pipe inova pipe hombe inounza mvura kuno ku town. Sezvamunoziva kuti mvura yedu inobva 40 km away saka pa 3 pumps dziri kupamba so far tine 1 pump chete iri kupamba tiri kwanisa kuwana around 7 megaliters but vakomana vedu vari paground izvozvi tichitaura kudai tinotarisira kuti by end of day mangwana tinofanira kunge tapedza vanofanira kunge vapedza kugadzira pipe iyoyo.
The latest water crisis comes at a time when President Emmerson Mnangagwa launched the local authorities' blueprint, which is set to guide their operations through provision of quality services. Tafara Chikumera, ZBC News, Gweru.
Now, the National Blood Service Zimbabwe has launched a festive season blood collection campaign with a target to collect more than 13,000 units. Let's get those details.
The campaign, which will run until the first week of January, has seen the National Blood Service Zimbabwe setting an ambitious target of 13,370 units of blood to be collected from 81 sites countrywide. Speaking during the launch of the campaign, NBSZ Chief Executive Officer Ms. Lucy Marowa stressed the importance of having sufficient blood stocks.
As National Blood Service Zimbabwe, it is our responsibility to make sure that the nation has adequate stocks of blood during this festive season. Needless to say, the festive season also coincides with the closure of schools after the third term. And the third term is also a very difficult period for us because this is the time when our Form 4s, our Form 6 children are writing their examinations. And as such, blood collections are low from the schools. So because they are writing examination, we do not disturb them during this period. So our collections tend to be a bit lower.
Blood donor Ms. Trish Hansen reckons the initiative is a noble cause.
I've been giving blood since I was a teenager, and the reason
Well, we have more news on our website. It's at www.zbc.co.zw. You can also go through to our Facebook page. It's at ZBC News Online. Let's take a break. We're back with more news after this.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Yave nguva yekudya kwemangwanani kwakakosha nesirieu yenyu yamunofarira inogadzirwa muno muZimbabwe. Nestle Cerevita izere neutano hunosanganisira iron, mavitamins nemaminerals zvinopa simba zuva rese. Saka zvakakosha kutanga zuva zvine ungwaru. Nestle Cerevita, highly nutritious, simply delicious.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Levels Production. Hello? Wadi? Wada Gupi? Uripi? Inyanga?
message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, Zimbo. Every journey leads you home. Uripi, ungapi.
This holiday season, DSTV's got so much great entertainment. You, your family, and your guests will be spoiled for choice.
Always a tremendous atmosphere here. The treble winners are back.
Shoot and score! This is outstanding!
Celebrate Zimbabwean cuisine.
This is good to now.
It doesn't matter who you're hosting.
We're family, and we can conquer anything.
We've got unbeatable shows for the whole neighborhood to choose from.
They just got better.
We're more than prepared for any assault.
We're actually great. We're really great. I can have my happily ever after.
Just enough. All the time.
We're all about giving you entertainment of your choice and options that suit your family. So stay connected to DSTV for the happiest holidays yet. DSTV, it's your moment.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Government has reiterated its commitment to scale up the information dissemination drive and ensure public ownership of the National Development Agenda. Kenya's Chivuje gives us that report.
Players in the information sector have been challenged to up their game in promoting brand Zimbabwe and ensuring public buy-in of government programs. The call was made by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Nick Mangwana, during the ministry's strategic planning review meeting in Vumba this Monday, where he outlined some of the government and public expectations on the media industry.
We are supposed to develop policy and legal framework that promotes growth of a modern and a vibrant information and broadcasting industry. All of us. We are supposed to develop and project a national viewpoint. All of us. We're supposed to facilitate a two-way communication between the citizenry and the government. Everyone, every Zimbabwean should feel that they own this country. They own every program. They own the national agenda. They can only do that when there is a free flow of information so that they can buy in.
Manicaland Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Mishek Mugadza, was represented by Deputy Director in his office, Mr. Lucky Basopo. He acknowledged the importance of information dissemination in achieving the vision of an upper middle-income society by 2013.
The mantra of leaving no one and no place behind should be your driving force. The tenets of the NDS1 and the development of progress made so far should be communicated to all four corners of the nation.
The Office of the President and Cabinet stressed the importance of 100-day cycle programs in national development.
The ministry performance is improved. Like I've already denoted, all your projects were in green. To conclude my presentation, I would like to say, while the 100-day cycle is a short period, with focused planning and resourcing, concerted effort and monitoring throughout the implementation process, a lot can be achieved.
The workshop is running under the theme Re-engineering Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services to facilitate a two-way communication strategy. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
Now, as the December 9th by-elections draw closer, aspiring legislators in Bulawayo South constituency have promised to roll out programs that are meant to transform lives in the constituency. Let's get more.
The three candidates vying for Bulawayo South constituency are working tirelessly to earn the people's vote come the 9th of December. Comrade Rajesh Modi of ZANU PF said his work is not restricted to the people's vote as he has continued to be accessible and of assistance to the people of Bulawayo despite having lost in the previous elections.
I don't like to promise people and then don't do things, But wherever I can, I'm always there for them. There's no problem at all. And I haven't stopped also my whatever I was doing before also, before even I joined the politics.
Citizens Coalition for Change CCC candidate Miss Nicola Watson, who was one of the legislators recalled from Parliament, implored the people of Bulawayo South to once again trust her to lead.
I will continue with my role with honesty, integrity, diligence, and putting citizens first at all times.
The Citizens Coalition for Change has two candidates in Bulawayo South constituency, with the other being Mr. James Sithole, who underscored the need for improved service delivery.
Through CDF, we will establish other sources of clean water, such as solar-powered bores, which are user-friendly. We will improve community gardens by building greenhouses.
Bulawayo South is one of the 9 constituencies set to hold by-elections on the 9th of December after some opposition party legislators were stripped off of their parliamentary seats. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, we'll now cross over to our Montrose studios where Dora Ncube is on standby to give us more news. Good evening, Dora.
Thank you so much, Malvin and Napila. Good evening to you and a lovely evening to our viewers at home. Many thanks to the team at Pocketzell for taking us on this far. We continue with the main news. The Wange community is spearheading conservation efforts amid revelations that they have become active players in the protection of endangered species such as wild dogs.
It is very rare for wild animals to owe their existence to humans, but that is the case in the Mabale community of Wange, where wild dogs, also known as painted dogs, owe their existence to determined efforts by the surrounding community. Volunteer rangers from Mabale now pride themselves in being key defenders of the endangered species against poachers.
nezofuyo zedu zatilolera mu mizi kuti zisiparare tinatibvisa tulapi mu mishango yomo
kusaidi kwedu nasoba mutibhancha kuti kakariko kamari kati mwana kashoma shoma timushingisa nesupo timubhanchikana pane jimwe ndau jirosiyana siyana.
We're going to succeed in conservation of nature. We will need that people in the surrounding areas, people living adjacent to Wange National Park, people living adjacent to any other national park, they should be able to appreciate wildlife and live in harmony with their nature.
With the aid of tools of trade and a reliable source of income, the volunteer rangers go about their daily business with a sense of pride.
Lolu besikhangelele ukuthi lusincedise kakhulu njengoba lusincedise emaklinika lesezikolweni.
From almost being extinct to significant figures of over 6,000 countrywide, Zimbabwe has asserted itself as a global conservation player of the painted dogs. Mhlomuli Ncube, ZBC News, Wange.
Connectivity and effective messaging techniques have been cited as key in marketing Africa as a tourism hub. Tichawana Kureva gives us more.
Over 19 countries have converged in Zimbabwe's tourism capital of Victoria Falls for the first United Nations World Tourism Organization UNWTO Media and Tourism Training in Africa workshop. African journalists will for the next 3 days debate and also share ideas on the latest reporting trends set to position Africa as a destination of choice.
They have to create experiential opportunities for the journalists to understand the environment, understand tourism industry, see things for themselves so that they can report.
What I'm expecting to get is vast knowledge on how to promote tourism better in our respective countries, what you need to give out and what needs to be presented by the media.
Promote more of our culture in our tourism and then also share more concerning our interconnectedness.
Regional Director of Africa United Nations World Tourism Organization, Ms. Alicia Grandcourt, highlighted the significance of the media in shaping Africa's narrative and its tourism products.
And now today we're talking about media, we're talking about the communication, which is really essential because this is where the consumers are looking more to focus.
The Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Honorable Barbara Rhodes, underscored the need for the media to have an art for telling the story of Destination Africa.
Communication
What makes you know and understand where is somewhere that you don't live? If you don't read about it, if you don't see it on the TV, if you don't see pictures, you won't know that there's Africa. You won't know that there are destinations in Kenya, there are destinations in Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Despite Africa being endowed with various breathtaking tourism destinations, Africa constitutes only 5% of tourism arrivals compared to other continents. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Residents of Bulawayo have welcomed the move to ban pushcarts in the central business district as part of efforts to restore sanity in the city.
Chaos and scuffling sum up what had become the order of the day in the Bulawayo Central Business District. The situation had become even worse along 3rd Avenue, Lopengola Street, 12th Avenue and Robert Mugabe Way. Hence, the public is relief after the pushcarts were banned in the CBD.
Now driver kabafuni kuphuma emgwaqweni. Bayakutshela uthi mana when driver bona bafuna ukungena emgwaqweni. Abakuniki chance benze ngantwa labo vele balama rights okuhamba etare. They
are not controllable. These motors lay one way, they are all over, making it difficult for both pedestrians and motorists.
Former Bulawayo Progressive Residents Association Executive Chairperson Mr. Ambrose Sibindi says there is a need for the local authority to designate workspaces for pushcarts operators and license them since it is their source of income.
I think council is trying to bring order in the city, which is good, but possibly they need to modify it as well, because we're now talking about the larger population unemployed. So possibly there should be a system say that, okay, you guys will use the pushcarts. Council creates a place where they can be driving, let me use that word, driving their pushcars.
Government approved the Bulawayo City Council's clamping and tow away bylaws, which criminalizes use of pushcarts in the central business district. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And all that's it from us here at Montrose. We now take you back to Nabila and Malvin for more news.
Well, thank you very much, Doria, for taking us part of that bulletin. We now move over to our courts and crime stories. And a 26-year-old man from Harare has appeared in court facing 6 counts of fraud after duping prospective job seekers of their hard-earned cash through a bogus recruitment agency for diaspora jobs. Peter Chivima gives us that report.
26 is accused of allegedly establishing a bogus recruitment agency offering lucrative job opportunities outside the country. The scheme, in which the accused allegedly created various WhatsApp groups advertising the jobs, occurred between September and October this year. The court heard that Mabungu and his alleged accomplice Opesto Lazarus Tole, who is still at large, targeted individuals seeking employment in Canada, Singapore, and New Zealand. One of the victims allegedly lost $500 after joining the WhatsApp group before she was told to deposit money into a South African bank account for processing a Singapore work permit. The court also heard that another victim lost $350 after the suspects used the same modus operandi. Cases of individuals who are falling victim to fake recruitment agents are on the increase, with law enforcement agents advising prospective job seekers to employ due diligence. Still at the courts, a man from Domboshava appeared in court this Monday facing allegations of robbery. Circumstances are that on the 10th of this month, Johnny Chimbende and his 2 accomplices, who are still at large, followed the complainant from a local nightclub in Domboshava and assaulted him with an empty bottle before robbing him. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
And that was a look at our courts news. We now take a look beyond our borders. The World Health Organization says Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City is no longer functioning due to constant gunfire and bombings in the area.
Reports say Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry has revealed that at least 2,300 people are still inside Al-Shifa Hospital in an update shared by the WHO. Doctors also fear that newborn babies who need intensive care treatment may die. Israel began its onslaught in Gaza after Hamas attacks on the 7th of October, which saw 1,200 people being killed and more than 200 others taken hostage. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 11,000 people have been killed in Gaza, including 4,500 children. The devastating conflict has claimed over 12,500 lives on the Palestinian and Israeli sides, according to data released by health authorities. Meanwhile, flags flew at half-mast at United Nations compounds across the globe this Monday as staff observed a minute of silence in memory of colleagues killed in Gaza during the Israel-Hamas conflict.
Former United Kingdom Prime Minister David Cameron has made a surprise return to frontline politics after British leader Rishi Sunak appointed him Foreign Secretary in a government reshuffle this Monday. Cameron, who was Britain's leader from 2010 to 2016 before quitting after losing the Brexit referendum, replaces James Cleverly, who has been appointed Interior Minister in an unexpected move. British leader Sunak also sacked controversial Interior Minister Suella Braverman as he attempts a reset by reshuffling his top team ahead of a general election expected next year. The Prime Minister replaced 43-year-old Braverman, who was appointed when Sunak became Prime Minister just over a year ago, with James Cleverly, who has been Foreign Secretary. Sunak was under growing pressure to fire Braverman, an outspoken right-winger, after critics accused her of heightening tensions during weeks of contentious pro-Palestinian demonstrations and counter-protests in Britain.
A look at news beyond Zimbabwe's borders. Zimbabwean musicians bag international awards at the just-ended African Entertainment Awards, USA. When we come back, we look at our arts and entertainment stories.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
The meaning of life is not to simply exist, but to move ahead. To rise up and achieve. To conquer. Introducing Kung Fu Energy Drink. Your push for the next conquests. Kung Fu Energy Drink. Master the power.
Well, thank you for staying with us right here on the main news. Now, Zimbabwean musicians have confirmed that the country is on the ascendancy after scooping 5 awards at the just-ended African Entertainment Awards USA held over the weekend in New Jersey.
Zimbabwean musicians continue to shine on the international scene, with 4 artists and a local digital news platform scooping awards at the prestigious African Entertainment Awards USA. Talented producer and musician Mr. Brown scooped the Best Collaboration Award for a collaborative effort with South African star Makazi titled Magia. Mr. Brown proved his mettle after he outshined African stars like Davido, Fally Ipupa, Tiwa Savage and Diamond Platnumz in the same category. Ja Praiser begged the best male artist in East, South and North Africa category after doing better than the likes of Young Stunner, Harmonize, Otile Brown, Diamond Platnumz and Focalistic. Not to be outdone was Gemma Griffiths, who won the Best Female Artist in East, South and North Africa after battling it out with African divas such as Zuchu, Kelly Kumalo and Spice Diana. Winky D won the Best Reggae and Dancehall Artist against Pato Ranking, Stoneboy, Buju Banton and Popcorn. Meanwhile, online publication Zim Celebs was named the best digital news platform at the same event. Patience Nyagato, SABC News, Harare.
Hearty congratulations to all those award winners. May News now takes a short break, but we will be back with our sports news.
Into a home.
More than 1 million global citizens visit this natural wonder every year. Its giant white curtains, ragged gorges and refreshing sprays are a marvel. Majestic, beautiful, enchanting. Victoria Falls. Now, its environs are transforming into a world-class city. Investors are invited to come on board under a build and operate arrangement.
As we seek to develop tourism towards Vision 2030, Government of Zimbabwe has allocated 1,200 hectares of development of the regeneration of Victoria Falls.
Construction will be done in 3 phases, with Phase 1 running from 2021 to 2025. Phase 1 will be spread on 271 hectares. A standout feature is an international golf course with an animal corridor. In what is probably a first worldwide, the golf course allows interaction with Victoria Falls' beautiful wildlife. The course will be suitable for major tournaments such as the PGA Open. Its investment value is $35 million United States dollars. Close to the golf course will be a hybrid medical and tourism resort for both wellness and leisure. The facility will house a 400-bed hospital fully capacitated with world-class medical equipment. This envisaged hospital will ensure Victoria Falls meets global medical standards and attract business such as more airlines. Hotels and guest houses for recovering patients will also be constructed. In addition, the resort will have spas, wellness screening, meditation areas, and yoga spaces in keeping up with proven traditional medical practices. The investment value is $50 million United States dollars. An international finance center is also part of the plan. The center will be a hub that promotes international banking, asset management, insurance, financial, and real estate markets. Potential investors in the IFC include banks, pension funds, insurance companies, real estate investors, and corporates. The center is similar to financial service hubs in Mauritius, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Ireland, Singapore, and Hungary. And at the pinnacle of this innovation is the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, which is already operational. The stock exchange allows companies in Zimbabwe, SADC, and the broader sub-Saharan African region to raise capital in foreign currency. Global companies with investments in Zimbabwe can also list on the VFX. Victoria Falls is poised to be one of the world's foremost cities. A state-of-the-art convention center befitting the status will be constructed. Complete with modern conferencing facilities, the center will host major local and international conventions. It will also have a 5-star hotel, and the investment value for the convention center is 75 million United States dollars. A solar power plant with capacity to generate 20 megawatts of electricity is in the works. The plant, valued at 20 million United States dollars, is tailored to power the entire city with affordable, clean energy. Other infrastructure includes a hospitality academy that will develop into a multicultural and multilingual university with capacity to attract learners from across the globe. The university will offer programs in hospitality management, events management, and food and beverage management. The investment value is 100 million United States dollars. Zimbabwe has designated Victoria Falls a special economic zone, meaning investors will enjoy incentives, including tax exemptions. Invest in Zimbabwe, a land of great opportunities.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening and welcome to Sports News on a Monday evening. My name is Lawrence Trusida. We start off with news that it's all systems go in the Warriors training camp ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Rwanda, with most of the Warriors players having reported for camp in the host country.
17 players have now reported for the Warriors camp in Rwanda ahead of the 2 qualifiers against the host on Wednesday and Nigeria on Sunday. England-based Warriors midfielder Marvelous Nakamba and striker Admiral Muswe were the first foreign-based players to report for camp, together with the Prince Dube, who plays for Azam in Tanzania. France-based midfielder Kingpin Marshall Munezi arrived in Kigali this Monday afternoon and is expected to proceed to Huye this evening, together with his colleagues that arrived this evening. United States-based defender Teenage Hardaway, English Championship players Tinowonga Rushesha and Andirino Mota are all expected to report for camp this Monday evening, alongside Terence Zukamanja of Supersport United. Earlier, Warriors coach Paul Tema Brito named his final 23-man squad for the 2 World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda this Wednesday and Nigeria on Sunday.
We are starting a new process. We are starting a process. We, technical staff, the players, the committee, everyone are making a big effort for the things going well. So after this long time of being banned, some of the players, they are meeting for the first time.
Liverpool youngster Isaac Mabaya has been omitted due to fitness concerns, same as Brandon Galloway, who is coming back from a long injury layoff. However, Brentford goalkeeper Mali Tavazia, Leicester City winger Tawanda Maswanise, and Cyprus-based defender Tendai Darikwa are not part of the squad.
So good news there in the Warriors camp, with most of the players arriving in time for tomorrow's training. We can also confirm to you that Divine Lunga has also joined camp. We move on with news that the late former Highlanders and Warriors coach Rahman Gumbo, who died this Friday, has been described as a champion for football development who excelled beyond the country's borders. More in the next report.
Breaking into the Highlanders' fold was no mean feat for yesteryear players. It required someone who had an identity with this particular place, popularly known as Entumbanis Disque. However, the late Rahman Gumbo is one of the few who shrugged off that barrier after breaking into the first team coming from Jube Sebab. A regular midfielder in Highlanders colours and Reinhard Fabich's dream team, during his playing days, the late Rahman Gumbo carved his teeth at Wanderers Eagles before joining Highlanders in 1987, where he played alongside Madinda Ndlovu and the late Adam Ndlovu, Willard Khumalo and Mercedes Sibanda, after being recruited by Lawrence Phiri. Football administrator Vincent Pamiri recalls the smart gentleman he saw in Dr.
Rahman was not from Makokoro, Mzilikazi. There was some unsung heroes who nurtured Rahman. Don't forget, it didn't come from he came from Wanderers. Wanderers, many of their players came from number 2, number 1. And I think that is the reason why Rahman came there, because he also came from Juve, which was near number 1.
The midfield maestro gave his opponents a torrid time.
We lost a potential somebody, Rahman, because player was a very good player. Bese kubuya ku coaching hayi wenza izimanga ku coaching kakhulu sibili hayi ngilapha nje hayi ngiyamsalute because hayi mina ngizange ngifike stage lesana ku coaching but yena he manage was waphatha kwelizwe wenza the same thing futhi he is a very good coach. In fact he was a very good coach, Rahman.
Dr. Rush has also left the coaching fraternity poorer.
Rahman Gumbo contributed a lot to Zimbabwean football. As a player, he was one of the top players and ended up playing for national team. As a coach as well, contributed a lot to the development of players, making sure that local competition becomes higher and higher.
Apart from playing and coaching Highlanders on the local scene, Dr. Rush also had stints at Cape United, Motor Action, FC Platinum and Chicken Inn, among other local clubs. A coach with visible footprints in Zimbabwe, in Malawi and in Botswana, the late coach Rahman Gumbo saw duty in a number of clubs and he leaves a rich vein of football history.
Affectionately known as Dr. Russia because of his admiration of Liverpool legend Ian Russia, Rahman Gumbo started off his career as a striker at Eagles before playing for Highlanders, where he emerged as one of the best midfielders in the country. At that, he went on to play for the Warriors. In particular, the famous Dream Team was no surprise. His Midas touch took him to the dugout when he retired, and success followed him as he led Highlanders to the 2000 league title. Gumbo also led the Mighty Wanderers of Malawi to their first league title in 2006 and remains a cult hero at the club. He also won 2 league titles in Botswana and a stint as the Warriors coach, where he came within 90 minutes of leading Zimbabwe to the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa. Sanda Chizambwa, one of the many who rubbed shoulders with Dr. Rush at a club level before going on to coach him in the Warriors setup, remembers a genius.
Munhu aishandika naye, munhu anga anyarara aizviitira zvinhu zvake zvebhora, akangopedza bhora rake ongoitawo semunhu. He was very simple and takashanda tisi zvakanaka chaizvo kusvikira tazongoningirika tazongosiyana.
Norman Mapeza, one of the most dominant coaches of this generation, believes he's lost a big brother.
He was one of those players vakandibatsira to settle in pandakaenda ku-Dream Team. Iye maplayers akafanana nathi late Francis Sonai vakandibatsira a lot pandakaenda ku-Dream Team. So kwandiri inini, he was more than a colleague. He was like a brother to me.
A veteran football commentator, Charles Mabika, believes Gumbo lived his dream of wanting to be as great as Ian Rush.
He was scoring goals in pure Ian Rush fashion. He had the same sort of physique with Ian Rush, the tall, gliding nature as he glided towards supporting a corner kick and heading the ball powerfully home or beating 1-2 defenders in the box.
As the Warriors are prepared to take on Rwanda in a World Cup qualifier, the late Gumbo will be remembered as the last Warriors coach to guide the nation to a 2-0 victory over the same opponents in 2011.
May you so continue to rest in peace. We continue with more football news, where youthful coach Chekshua Chiragwi has become an instant hero at Ngezi Platinum Stars after guiding where big names failed to succeed. This comes after 39-year-old coach led Ngezi Platinum Stars to their first ever Castle Lager Premier Soccer League title in his first full season in charge of the Mandore-based outfit.
The pint-sized former Cape United left-back has proved that dynamites come in small packages after succeeding where the tried and tested failed. Since 2016, they have tried it all, from local to expatriate coaches. The likes of Tondera Ndiraya, Eroe Agbe, Rodwood Lakama, and even former Manchester City striker Benjamin Marwari have come and gone, with the league title remaining elusive. Enter Tekshua Chiragui without much experience except a short stint at Shabani Mine. He took the reins last season, having been an understudy to both Lakama and Marwari. The signs were there that this could be the man that Ngezi Platinum were looking for after leading them to a fourth place finish, having taken over when they were 10th. At the start of the season, the diminutive Chiragui dished big names at the club, shipping out the likes of Denver Mkamba, Wellington Taderera, and Lusty Jesse, among others. He turned to the club's developmental side for new talent, and therein lies the secret to his success after Chiragui gave at least 8 players from their junior ranks a chance. The start of the 2023 season was, however, not smooth, as Ngezi Platinum had 4 points from their first 4 league games. It would have been easy to press the panic button, but as they say, good things come to those who wait, as the team soon struck the right chord. Chiragui marshaled the team with a distinction, and in some instances they were ruthless, and at some point they were pragmatic. Everything was thrown at them, and most will remember when the league title seemed to be slipping away after Bulawayo Giants Highlanders flexed their muscles and went on a 19-match unbeaten run. But that was just a test of character, as Ngezi Platinum executed the task and produced the results. From an unheralded coach at Shabani Mine, Chiragui stands tall at Ngezi Platinum Stars. Chiragui becomes the second youngest coach to win the PSL League title after Norman Mapeza, who was 36 when he won it with the now defunct Monomtapa in 2008. Callisto Pasua was 41 when he won his first league title with the Dynamos in 2011, while Lloyd Chitebwe was 45 when lifted his league title as a coach in 2016. Chiragui might not be finished yet, as Ngezi Platinum Stars are set to take on Dynamos in the Chibuku Super Cup final on the 3rd of December.
From our PSL champions, we move on to the new boys that will be joining the Kasolaga Premier Soccer League Southern Region Division 1 Football League champions. RNL have promised to make an instant impact when they move on to the Premier Soccer League next year.
Having sealed their Premier League promotion last week, Arsenal continued with their fine run after adding colour to their official crowning moment at the weekend with a 1-0 victory over Adachi. The Sweet Boys were officially crowned Southern Region Division 1 champions after the match, with the club leadership making their intentions clear.
The journey hasn't been easy, though, but we managed to pull it through. We started from as a social club, went to Division 2, then went to D1. I think if we lasted about 2 seasons in D1, last season we came third. We were fighting for the promotion, and then come this season, where now we managed to be promoted with 4 games to go.
This one I cannot compare I don't know with other clubs because we have our own way of doing things.
The journey was tough, especially from teams like ZPC Wange, TRC, and Jordan Sinot from Philabus. Those were tough games for us.
A reliable partner in Genesis Sport, the future looks bright for Arsenal.
My affiliation with Division 1 football, especially in the Southern region, began way back in the 2013s when I started to identify with Victoria Falls-based teams. But the passion as well as the expansion of the league has seen me expanding our horizons to Bulawayo and beyond.
It is a dream come true for the Sweet Boys, who started off as a social club before joining lower leagues. Meanwhile, former Premiership side Tier 1 are on course for another dance with the big boys in the top flight, with a healthy 6-point lead over second place Tongogara with 2 games to go before the end of the season. The Wi-Fi boys, who were inactive last weekend, got an easy 3 points after Zushawane-based side lost control, pulled out of the league. In the Eastern region, the winner will be confirmed on the last day of the season, with Bikita Minerals separated by just a point, with second place FC Wangomazods and Tenax, who are third. Affectionately known as the Lithium Boys, Bikita Minerals dropped 2 vital points after a 1-1 draw with Midway. In the Northern region, local leaders Black Mambas tumbled after a share of spoils with Moors, reducing the gap, separating them with second place the Chegutu Pirates to 2 points. The two sides are set to meet in the penultimate match of the season this weekend. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News.
Bulawayo.
So that reporter from Mtogozi Suduwe concludes the sports news for this evening. It's now time for the weather report at Update.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. Looking at our satellite image, we had moisture that drifted in over the southern parts of the country. However, it's coupled by a cloud band that is drifting in from the west, which should give us thundery weather over the western parts of the country. But to the southeast, that moisture is giving us cool conditions over areas such as Matabeleland South into Masvingo as well as Manicaland. Tomorrow, we're expecting still those cloudy conditions over Matabeleland South into Masvingo, with thundery weather over Manicaland because of moisture drifting in from the southwest. Also, thundery weather is expected over Matabeleland North because of a system that is drifting in from Botswana, but the rest of the atmosphere should be generally sunny, humid and hot for the bulk of the day, where Harare is projected to have a maximum of 30-31 into Bulawayo with isolated thundershowers. Same for Mutare, but those are drifting in from the southeast. But for Gweru, Kwekwe and Kadoma should be mostly sunny with maximums of 29, 33 and 33 respectively. For Masvingo, expecting that cloudy conditions that were still there present today to be still persistent into tomorrow, giving us a maximum of 27, whilst Chino is mostly sunny with a maximum of 34. Thundery weather is over Lupane because of moisture drifting in from Botswana, but for Bindura and Marondra, it's mostly sunny conditions. Gwanda cloudy because of moisture drifting in from the southeast. For Victoria Falls, it's thundery weather, same for Nyanga and Chimanimani, but for Kariba, it's mostly sunny and hot for the bulk of the day, whilst Great Zimbabwe and Matopos are both cloudy with maximums of 27 and 29 respectively. For our outlook period, it becomes less cloudy over the southern parts, where we're expecting just brief cloudy periods over Masvingo area, but for the rest of the atmosphere, it's drying up. Just isolated showers because of remnant pockets of moisture are expected in the forecast period. That's all for our weather and forecast. Been a pleasure, Zimbabwe. I'm James Ngoma Jr. for the Met Department.
Well, James Ngoma there with the weather.
Thank you so much for joining us. That wraps up our main news this Monday evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.